Good day everyone, welcome to Looping Forever. I'm Luke. Today I want to review the iPhone 13 Pro. I just got this recently. So it's been 6 months already since iPhone 13 first announced. Now it's actually better time to get it because they start to go on sales. And there are new features being added into this machine. So today I'll let you know my thoughts about this. You only get the full function iPhone 13 if you get Pro version 256GB and above, cause the extra telephoto lens and the full camera function, wireless charging. What I get for myself is the 13 Pro 256GB Sierra Blue. My personal view, this is probably the nicest color. I already told myself I'm gonna choose either blue or graphite. The iPhone 13 Pro have a 6.1 inch screen compared to its counterpart Pro Max 6.7 inch. It's a ceramic shield screen. It's like Gorilla Glass but stronger. But still I put a screen protector on it because I don't like to use a phone with cracked screen. I like the Pro because it fits better in my palm. My thumbs can reach the other side of the screen. The phone itself looks premium. Have a surgical grade stainless steel frame with the volume rockers and home button on it. It looks identical to iPhone 12 Pro. The phone looks thicker, but compared to my old iPhone 11 Pro, it's actually same thickness. The back of the iPhone 13 Pro is a textured glass. The back glass is not easy to break, but it will break, no matter how strong they say they made it. That's why you see a lot of people with cracked phone. So put a phone case on. The camera lens are bigger than 11 Pro and 12 Pro and built on top of a bump. So it's about 2mm tall. If you try to play games or type on the tables, it keep wobbling. The lens cover is made from sapphire crystal. It's stronger and prevents scratches. But you can see I already put a lens protector on it. And I know a lot of people already say the lens on the phone itself already prevents scratches. It brings down the quality of video and pictures on it. But it creates some sort of flaring at night. But it saved me from having to change my phone just because I scratched one lens. Now let's talk about the display. The display is Super Retina XDR OLED with iPhone New Tech ProMotion. ProMotion is a technology with adaptive rates up to 120Hz. It means the refresh rate will change according to what you are doing on your phone. If you're playing a high refresh rate games, you get 120Hz. If you're only scrolling through a browser reading articles, then you probably get 10 to 60Hz. A lot of Android phones have high refresh rate these days, but Apple ProMotion gives a smoother user experience while saving battery life. The display have a bright screen at 1000 nits, letting you easy to see the screen under sunlight, and colors are vibrant and contrast when you're watching videos and pictures on it, making the color very accurate because of the OLED display. And it supports Dolby Vision and HDR10. iPhone 13 Pro still use the same camera notch like before. Maybe they shorter the length, but it's still there. But you only realize if you're watching a full screen video. I usually just use the default size. The camera notch houses the 12 megapixel front camera and Face ID, which using the TrueDepth camera system. iPhone can only use Face ID or passcode to unlock your phones and verification for your account or lock notes. Trouble with mask or glasses? The new iPhone 13 now let you unlock your phone with mask and glasses on too. And the Face ID is very fast and secure. It cannot be used in the situation you didn't realize. So it's made up for not having fingerprints ID. The iPhone 13 Pro also have good stereo and microphone. At the top and the bottom, sound are crisp and loud. iPhone 13 Pro have IP68 water resistant, means it can go into water for 6 meters deep for as long as 30 minutes. Maybe not all of us will use this advantage. However, knowing your iPhone won't just die immediately when you drop it into the water is a big plus. The iPhone 13 Pro have a battery 3095 mAh. Although it's not looking that much, but usually it lasts me about 10 hours, moderate use. I usually just used to checking messages, browsing social media, and I listen to music all the time when I'm working. iPhone didn't come with a power brick since iPhone 12, but if you get an Apple 20-watt adapter with lightning cables, you can charge iPhone 13 Pro from 0 to 60% in half an hour. Or if you use MagSafe wireless charging, 15 watt will be 20% in half an hour. Usually when I'm in a rush, I use a cable to charge. If I'm charging overnight, then I use MagSafe charger. It's definitely not the fastest charging phone on earth, but it's considered average these days. iPhone 13 Pro still using the lightning port. I don't mind the extra cables when I go out, but transferring with wire is a pain. Plus you have to go through iTunes. I absolutely hate iTunes. I haven't used it for years even though I'm using iPhone. iCloud wasn't a bad solution because not everywhere you get fast and cheap internet. Lucky enough, there are a lot of third-party gadgets to do this these days. I'll make a separate video about this another time. But if you want to transfer files from iPhone, best way you can do is either use AirDrop to other Apple devices, or you can use a lightning port SD card reader like this. It's still pretty fast for small files. Finally, my favorite part is the camera. This year you don't have to buy the bigger Pro Max to get the full camera function. The 13 Pro and Pro Max have exactly same camera function. This year iPhone main feature is cinematic mode. Basically it's portrait mode for video. Cinematic mode calculates selective focus and depth of field for your video. And the best thing is you can still adjust the depth of field and focus after you shoot in photos. You can only shoot cinematic mode in 1080p on wide, telephotos and selfie lens. I was impressed with the A15 chip's calculations. The depth of field looks very accurate, doesn't look fake. This function is good for people who vlog on smartphone. Another iPhone new feature is macro mode. Unlike other companies who have a designated macro lens, Apple put the macro mode in the ultra-wide lens. The ultra-wide lens is f1.8, 13mm, 120 degrees, and it has autofocus now to use with the new macro mode. You can focus on items from as close as 2 cm, so you can get crisp macro picture. You can also take macro video, slow motion, and time lapse. Pictures shoot with ultra wide is crisp and sharp too, thanks to the new f1.8 lens to let in more light. All iPhone 13 Pro camera lens are 12 megapixel. Unlike other brands who give you more megapixel, Apple more focus on bigger camera sensor and wider aperture for better low light pictures. And now all lenses support night mode. Most smartphones these days can take good pictures in the day, even cheaper ones as long the lighting is good. Night mode is a feature starting from 11 Pro, allow longer exposure time for crisp picture at night. Because iPhone 13 Pro have greatly increased the camera ability to take in more lights, so exposure time will also become faster in night mode. The main 26mm wide lens is the best lens on this phone now. Have even larger camera sensor and wider f1.5 aperture to allow more lights into the camera for crisp and sharper night pictures. The sensor shift OIS will let you shoot stable handheld pictures. The wider f1.5 also let you achieve some natural bokeh without portrait mode. The 77 telephoto lens now have 3 times optical zoom compared to 2 times optical zoom before. The lens also does 15 times digital zoom, but the quality is not so good after 5 times. This lens is more for portrait. Now with 3 times optical zoom, you will have a better distance between you and your subject, especially a person or animals, so you don't have to push the camera too close to your subject to make them uncomfortable. The telephoto lens only has f2.8 aperture, but it has night mode and OIS, so it can still shoot crisp handheld pictures. Like many telephoto lenses too, this lens will also give you some natural bokeh. In the front is a selfie camera, 12 megapixel f2.2 wide. Selfie take with this camera is crisp and sharp. This selfie camera support night mode and cinematic mode too. Underneath here is LiDAR scanner, used with camera in low light situation. Autofocus faster and provide better contrasted image, help in different shade, subject and background for portrait pictures. The iPhone video format support 1080p, 30fps and 60fps, and 4K you get 24fps up to 60fps, and all video capture support Dolby Vision or HDR. There's no 8K, but I think I'm cool with 4K or even 1080p because of memory space. Video capture have video stabilization. These are the results. I discovered 60 FPS is the best for shooting with video stabilization. Starting from iPhone 12, iPhone can shoot ProRAW and ProRes in native iPhone camera app. ProRAW is like RAW photo and ProRes is like RAW video. These two formats requires a lot of memory space even when you shoot in Apple HEIF format, which is why iPhone 13 have the 1TB version. When you shoot ProRes, on the top of the screen will have an indicator how long you can shoot, but you can only edit ProRes on Apple Editor like Photos or Final Cut. Right now, I think they take out too much memory space. You need at least 512GB or 1TB if you want to constantly shoot ProRAW and ProRes. I much prefer the normal RAW files. iPhone 13 Pro camera have a new setting called photographic styles. It's like a preset you set, so every picture you take will have your own style. You have to choose before you take pictures. There is 4 presets set for you already, but you can override the original one. You can only adjust tones and warmth, not too much option, but I like default styles more. The iPhone 13 Pro use Apple A15 Bionic chips, 6GB RAM with 5-core GPU. This allows calculation of complex tasks while still preserve battery life and protect personal detail. As a long-term Apple ecosystem user, I have to say the stability of iPhone is the reason I still choose iPhone. I don't think I experienced much lag or crash on all the iPhone I used before. Older iPhone like 7 that my partner used still works great until these days. Since iPhone 12, Apple introduced MagSafe. MagSafe is not only wireless charging, it's also turning your iPhone into magnet. You can find a lot of accessories with magnet, like right now I have a MagSafe wallet, this is not by Apple, and MagSafe charger, this is not by Apple as well. Even though I don't use MagSafe that much, but I think it's a good idea because I like it is easy to attach and detach accessory for my phone. So to wrap up the review, iPhone 13 Pro is definitely live up to its price tag. Premium looks, tons of great feature, good cameras, maybe not all perfect, but those imperfections will still be top of the class. If you're still using an older iPhone before 11 series and thinking to upgrade, then you should consider to change now, not waiting for iPhone 14, because there's a big gap for the tech and for the function, and even when 14 is announced on September, you might still have to wait a few months to get your hands on it. If you're using iPhone 11 and 12, then you can wait and see what they offer on iPhone 14. Cause cinematic or macro mode, even ProRAW or ProRes wasn't that important yet. I think the only big changes next will only be if they change the port to USB-C or something else faster. That's all for my review. I thank you all for watching and I see you all next time. Signing out.